news tonight. FCT Minister presents vehicles to 10 graded chiefs to help curb insecurity. Suspected light rail vandals in the FCT apprehended. And Muslim faithful enjoin to emulate the teachings of Prophet Muhammad on empathy to humanity. Good evening and glad to have you join us on the news at 7 on 98 Channel 5 Abuja. I am Ifoma Ojinta. And from the presidency comes a report that President Bola Tinubu has approved the nomination of Dr. Olayemi Michael Cardoso to serve as the new governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, for a term of 5 years at the first instance, pending his confirmation by the Nigerian Senate. This directive is in conformity with Section 8, Subsection 1 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007, which vests in the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria the authority to appoint the governor and 4 deputy governors for the Apex Bank of the country. Furthermore, President Bola Tinubu has approved the nomination of 4 new deputy governors of the Central Bank of Nigeria for a term of 5 on the same condition as that of the governor. They are Mrs. Emem Nana Usoro, Dr. Muhammad Sani Abdullahi Latijo, Mr. Philip Ikazo, Dr. Bala M. Bello. In line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the President expects the above-listed nominees to successfully implement critical reforms at the Central Bank of Nigeria, which will enhance the confidence of Nigerians and international partners in the restructuring of the Nigerian economy towards sustainable growth and prosperity for all. The Federal Capital Territory Administration and Nasarawa State government have pledged to collaborate towards improved security and infrastructure development. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, disclosed this when he received an audience Governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, who paid him a courtesy visit in his office in Abuja. Onozo Yakubu tells us more.
Nasarawa State is one of the closest contiguous states to the nation's capital, sharing similar challenges in the neighboring communities in the areas of security and infrastructure development. The visiting governor Abdullahi Sule, while extolling the leadership qualities of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, solicits support as he pledges the commitment of Nasarawa State on joint infrastructural projects in the areas of metro train and other infrastructure development on the boundary communities.
In Nasarawa State at the border, just about 5 kilometers from Maitama 2, we do have about 13,000 hectares of land. It's an initiative of our previous governor. We came in and took care of most of the other agreements. We call it Guruku Kabusu area. That is one area that, Honorable Minister, we came and sold to the FCT that we can jointly build another Kigali, and we can also build another Dubai. And actually, we can't do it alone. We can only do it with the help of the FCT.
FCT Minister Nyesom Wike attributes the previous challenges to the awards of multiple projects without the necessary funds to complete them. He assures the Nasarawa State Governor of his resolve to work in synergy, pointing out that he will review the issues raised with a view to determining the priority projects to be funded to improve the lives of the citizenry.
Abuja cannot grow if you don't do anything that will also positively impact on Nasarawa State. We will discuss further with you on this issue, these 2 main issues, the Metro Line and the Abacha Barracks. The other one of 13 hectares of land, I do not know the place. The one who can do will go ahead and do it and achieve it.
This courtesy visit is the first of its kind by a sitting governor since assuming duty as the 17th minister of the FCT. Onozo Yakubu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has donated vehicles to 10 graded chiefs in the territory This assistance, the minister says, is to support traditional rulers in combating insecurity in the FCT. Again, Onuzi Yakubu brings us details.
The 10 graded third class chiefs that benefited from this gesture are the chiefs of Garki, Jiwa, Pai, Gwamani, Zuba, and Esu of Bwari. Others are chiefs of Gorgoda, Rubochi, Yaba, and Wako. At a symbolic presentation, the FCT Minister Yesun Wike says, in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, his administration aims to empower real fathers to play their role in ensuring peace and security in their communities.
We believe that traditional institutions have a role to play. And part of the role is to support government in creating an enabling environment where our people can live and carry out their businesses. And that is to support government to fight insecurity. FCT must work. I try as well as I can and encourage the area councils to work and partner with the traditional rulers.
Speaking on behalf of other traditional rulers, the owner of Abaji and chairman FCT Council of Chiefs, Alhaji Adamu Baba Yunusa, appreciates the minister for assisting with the vehicles, assuring that they will be utilized to promote peace and security in their respective domains.
We have been doing it before, our football have done your state, and here we are doing more.
This assistance, stakeholders believe, will go a long way in strengthening the harmonious relationship between the FCT administration and the traditional institution in the overall interest of the people. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Any suspected criminal arrested for vandalizing critical components of the rail track of the Abuja Light Rail project will be made to face the full weight of the law. Secretary for Transportation Ubokutom Nya said this during a visit to the scene of the vandalized tracks at Kukwaba Station in Abuja. Once again, Onuzi Yakubu tells us more.
The alleged criminals who specialize in vandalizing perimeter fence, communication and rail track cables ran out of luck when they were apprehended by the security personnel assigned to guard the Abuja Light Rail facilities. Secretary for Transportation Ubokutom Nya says act of sabotage from the resident is highly condemnable, wondering how some unscrupulous elements who the government expended so much funds to provide social infrastructure to ameliorate their living conditions could be involved in the act of sabotage by vandalizing critical infrastructure. He promises to penalize the perpetrators of this act.
People did not come from outer space to cause this level of vandalization. What this means is that we have to spend double, and then we have to delay, because we had expected that within the year that the rail services will start. But when we come here and see that even the cables and the protective fences have been vandalized by our people, it is something that takes us back.
The general supervisor of the private security outfit, Jafet Mekefi, narrates how they uncovered the illicit deals.
I saw them digging the rail to remove the cables. So immediately I parked and I flashed torchlight. Immediately they noticed my torchlight. They started running. So when they started running, we begin chase ourselves at that night. So when we ran, they knew the area more than the way I do. So they all escaped. So what we did now, we also ambushed them inside the bush. We're there waiting for them till 5 minutes after 5 in the morning.
The arrested suspected vandals are 7 in number.
An in-house investigative panel on the Garki market incident involving its personnel. A statement by the public relations officer of the DSS, Dr. Peter Afunaya, notes that while the inquiry is ongoing, the service has visited the 2 injured persons at the different hospitals where they are receiving treatment. The DSS further assures us that it is committed to the payment of the medical bills of the injured persons and has made required deposits to show sincerity of purpose at the time of the visits. The service expressed its readiness to move them to its world-class medical facility in Abuja. Meanwhile, the DSS says though these efforts are not in any way admission of guilt, as investigation is yet to be concluded, The service believes that the victims deserve empathy, financial support, and justice. Ahead of the anticipated rescheduled national population census, with finishing touches underway, the FCT office of the Commission has taken its Security and Logistics Committee's think tank to the doorsteps of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria for engagement. Onotu Yakubu brings us details.
Although no date has yet been set for the rescheduled national population census, but the Commission looks operation-focused with preparations in top gear to advance plans that will drive successes. To fine-tune the project's objectives, logistics is key, and that explains this interface between the Commission's and transport employers' offices in FCT. For the RTN executives here, the importance of the exercise is likened to the national value of general elections.
We'll be there to support you with anything transportation, even helping the commuters to inform people about the census, and that is what we do.
The aim of this interface, according to the Commission, is to test the project's mode of preparedness and set goals taking into cognizance the requisite requirements in equipment, questionnaires, unique characteristics with regions and locations across the country.
All the members have responded positively, and it gives us courage to now go ahead and conclude the preparations.
The Commission says part of the drive for success is harnessing digital innovations to drive results, as evident in the trial census conducted in July 2022 across 6 states, including the FCT. Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Now, this year, global attention is on the numerous threats to democracy occasioned by the coup d'etat in some African countries. As the world observes another International Day of Democracy, stakeholders highlight the vital role of children and young people in safeguarding democracy today and in the future.
Democracy, the rule of law, and respect for human rights are the bedrock of a resilient, inclusive, and peaceful society, which many say are non-negotiable.
This is the best government. It's the best government that we can ever think of. And therefore, we just continue to ensure that we advocate that whoever has an opportunity to pilot affair, he should, do very well so that democracy can be further enriched and enshrined.
Democracy means freedom. Democracy means rule of law. Democracy means development.
Despite all these, democracy seems to be threatened, particularly in Africa, given the recent coup in Niger and Gabon. How then can democratic values be further entrenched in the society?
I will encourage African leaders, to ensure that number one, good governance is their number one priority. If you govern well, I can assure you, the soldiers will not leave the barracks.
All that is, bringing about the coups, adventure into our system is because the leaders who have the opportunity, they will forget the electorate, or the citizens, and then you see them living lavishly.
On the occasion of the 2023 International Day of Democracy, with the theme Empowering the Next Generation, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says, and I quote, "The walls are closing in on civic spaces. Misinformation and disinformation are poisoning public discourse, polarizing communities, and eroding trust in institutions." He further calls for the need to support the younger generation with massive investments in education, skills building, and lifelong learning.
While empowering the youth to understand and appreciate the virtues and values of democracy, this will really bless the international system by having empowered and skilled young population that will contribute to the growth and development of the international economic system.
The International Day of Democracy is observed on the 15th of September annually.
A hadith of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, describes the most beloved servants of Allah as those who fear Allah and do good to impact humanity positively. The Deputy Chief Imam of the Abu Huraira Mosque, who says on 7, Ustaz Abdul Qadir Umar, who based his Jummah sermon on this hadith, encourages worshippers in this direction to earn Allah's mercy. Abdullahi Ajia reports.
One of the demonstrated teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is empathy to humanity. This nobility Ustaz Abdul Qadir Umar enjoins worshippers to emulate, especially at a time like this.
Prophet ﷺ said it is better for him to go in solving the problem of his companion than to be in the masjid for 1 month. The most beloved person among the mankind is the one that used to do good to people, who renders assistance, who is trying always to extricate people from the difficulties that they are facing.
The fear of Allah, which is the root of all commandments, the cleric emphasizes, should be upheld.
Calling on especially those in position, our leaders, our well-to-do people, that they should try and have time to see what they can render to their community.
This khutbah is timely because of the difficulty we are facing in terms of high rise in the fuel, high rise in food items. Everyone should try and see how he can help his neighbor. Let's try and see how we can assist them with the little we have.
Congregants who were solemn in their worship ask Allah to bring relief against the socio-economic challenges in the country, as well as help leaders at all levels to succeed. In Abuja, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
Malama, Allah ki bani katin bulo na 1000. Na 1000? Can. To shikenan yanzu nan zaka ga alert. Me yake damun ka? Me aka yi maka kake wannan ihun malam?
Ba dole in ihu ba. Wannan malamar ce na ce ta bani katin gulo na 1000. Ta je ta sa min katin 10,000. Ta ya zan iya biyan wannan?
Wannan ai garabasa gulo take yi. Idan ka saka 1000 za su rubanya maka shi domin ya koma 10,000. Shine muke kira 10 times airtime bonus.
Amma fa abun na kai mamaki.
Abokina ka kwanta da hankalinka. Kaga wannan 10,000 gulo ne ta baka kyauta. That what me say na 10 times we gulo give you.
Kwarai kuwa kai ma za ka iya samun 10 times airtime bonus idan ka sai kati a layin Glo ɗinka. Sai sabon layin Glo.
And next is sports brief.
Ahead of the 2023 FIFA The Best Award, Nigeria's former Super Eagles captain John Obi Mikel has been named on the panel of experts alongside retired Super Falcons forward Mercy Akidi. 11 members for the women's category. In the panel is also former Chelsea Football Club legend and retired Ivory Coast international Didier Drogba. Talking other sports, Nigeria rugby coach Stephen Lewis has made public the 12-man roster for the all-important Africa Cup Sevens rugby tournament, which starts on Saturday in Zimbabwe. The team are presently in Zisa Training Center. A couple of changes were made to the team that had excellent run in the pre-Olympic qualifiers in Mauritius, bringing in star forward player Richard Adeniyi and 2 playmakers. More so, Aristide will be making a return to the Stallion 7, having debuted in the 2011 Africa Cup in Morocco, and Ogene Loyeme Macaulay. Elsewhere, only 2 Nigerian boxers have reached the final at the Olympic qualifier ongoing in Dakar. Mixed feelings have arose following the performance by the initial 9 men that touched the city. Results indicate that out of the 9 boxers who went for the competition in Dakar, the Senegalese capital, for the qualifier, and started on a good note, only 8 of them reached the quarterfinal. At the end of the competition, only 2 Nigerian boxers reached the final. 1 picked an Olympic ticket and 3 others crashed out. With Sports Brief, Gideon Yohana, NTA News.
And as it's on the news in English, up next is the news translations. Good evening.
zoro kwa we wona na wo abeda pepepe ishanda yezuma wona ye waguba ngai beza bedai wachige efin me kakara ka nyi kwa hwi abam minister kinzinya yerson wuke woku amato ga asu ngun awo mbanu na busilele nano kinzinya onese yakubu na le sheba wo be na bedai wa nge minister agaba amate ni na bagbe kwa mabaji mbaba sunkunu azanu ko nsepa azagu na sepa azawanya asu mbami ba bwa amate ba bedelo sa juwai sa pei sa zubai sa boya sa rubochi kwaragwada yaba bedo wakoi peye shokoi beda ya nsala sepa kwa ngage aza yeye no shoko yaba woni jin aza no wo wi shokoi beda we jin abamanenga azabai na bai azabai ba wo wagmada Abdullahi ajiya wona le sheba wo be na beda wa ngage shokoi shenu no abu hurura asala jinya kun ba gilo wuse paye hutamba woni wo shokoi beda na ko in bwa beda gurna na ye ntu an paye benu we na asala ji nge ba jin abo amane na ba ge nzabo bwa nya mo mane ndada ba nsun ko bele aku shokoi jiwe ntu ko tunu abeji e nyebo amaje ba za beda wa tige sam beda ko to kun ye atashin afimu asukon sai ko nai
Igbo ndị ọma anyị awụchiela ọzọ na nke abalị a nwoke afọ Chisom bụ aha m na nke abalị a onye ọchị na-elekọta ọchịchị obodo a bụ FCT Nyesom Wike enyefeela ụgbọala n'aka ndị eze ọdịnala ọkwa ha dị elu n'obodo a n'usoro ịdị elu nke atọ maka ndị eze. Ihe enyemaka a dịka onye ọchịchị a siri kwuo bụ iji nyere ha aka ịchụ enweghị ezi nchekwa ọsọ ụkwụ eru ala n'ime obodo ha dị iche iche ma mee ka udo dịrị. Onoze Yakubu onye ọrụ anyị kọwara na ndị eze ritere uru na nke a gụnyere eze Jiwa, Pai, Gomani, Zuba, Esu nke Buhari, Gwargwada, Rubochi, Yaba nakwa nke Wako, ebe ọna nke Abaji kelere onye ọchịchị ya maka enyemaka bịara n'oge ya. Ụfọdụ n'ime nkụzi ihe nke onye ọma Mohammed udo dịrị ya na-egosi na onye hụrụ ofufe ala n'anya bụ onye na-atụ egwu ma na-arụ ọrụ obiọma ma bụ nke na-emetụ ihe akpọrọ mmadụ n'ụzọ dị mma. Abdulhaji onye ọrụ anyị sonyere n'ekpere Jumat nke taa ma batara anyị akụkọ na osote imam nke Abdulhaira Mosque Wuse Zone 7 Stars Abdulkadir Umar lekwasịrị anya na nkụzi ihe a ma kpọkuo ndị okpukpe Islam ka ha na-eme ihe ọma n'oge niile iji nweta ihu ọma na ebere nke ala. Ọ bụ otu a ka m ga-esi pịachie ya na nke abalị a. Ebe ọnụchi ndewo.
Ẹ̀sìnkú dédé wòyí ròyìn iléeṣẹ́ amóhùnmáwòrán ìkànnì karùn-ún tìlú Àbújá ló ń dé sí etí ìgbọ̀nyín. Mobọ́lájí Mátìnì oníròyìn. Aláṣẹ ìlú Àbújá Nyesom Wike ti ta àwọn àgbààgbà olóyè ní ọrẹ ọkàn l'Àbújá. Alákòójọpọ̀ ìròyìn Onoze Yakubu ròyìn wípé àwọn olóyè 10 lórí àǹfààní náà jẹ. Aláṣẹ Wike nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ sọ wípé ìgbésẹ̀ náà yóò túbọ̀ fún àwọn olóyè náà túbọ̀ tì wọ́n lẹ́yìn láti gbájúmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ àìṣedéédé ètò ààbò ní orígun mẹ́rin ìlú Àbújá. Ó tẹ̀síwájú sí wípé gẹ́gẹ́ bí ètò ìrètí ọ̀tun ti ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, ìgbésẹ̀ náà ṣe pàtàkì fún àwọn lọ́balọ́ba láti ṣe ojúṣe wọn kí ìran ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu yọrí sí rere lórígun mẹ́rin ìlú Àbújá. Ọ̀kan nínú ìwé atọ́ka Ànábì wa Muhammad kí ìkẹ́ àti ìgẹ̀ Ọlọ́run máa bá sọ wípé àwọn òjíṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run tí Olúwa yọ́nú sí ni àwọn tó ní ìbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run ọba tí wọ́n sì ń ṣe nǹkan rere tí ó ń yí ìgbé ayé ọmọ ènìyàn padà. Alákòójọpọ̀ ìròyìn Abdullahi Ajiya ròyìn wípé igbákejì lèmọ́mù mọ́ṣáláṣí Abu Hurairah tó ń bẹ ní Wuse ẹ̀ka kejì l'Àbújá Ustaz Abdulkadir Umar ló gbé ọ̀rọ̀ náà kalẹ̀ nínú wàásù jímọ̀ rẹ̀ lónìí ó gba gbogbo jọ̀mọ́ níyànjú láti mú ọ̀rọ̀ náà lò kí wọ́n lè rí ojú rere Ọlọ́run ọba. Àdúrà pàtàkì wáyé fún ìlọsíwájú orílẹ̀-èdè àti gbogbo ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè lápapọ̀. A ò rí jù báyìí lọ́sẹ̀ yìí títí ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ ní àṣẹ ti Èdùmàrè. Ojúmọ́ ire ni yóò mọ́ wa.